Good afternoon. My name is Johnny Ambrose, and I'm Director of Admissions for Michigan State University. I am excited to invite you this afternoon to hear a quick presentation about all of the changes going on at Michigan State and the things that your students can look forward to this year. And so on behalf of our president, President Stanley, I just wanted to say welcome, welcome, welcome. And so without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started in the presentation. I wanted you to know and hear a little bit about some of the new construction that's been taking place on campus. Our new STEM teaching and learning facility is nearly completed, and we're excited for students when they're able to come back to campus that they're going to be able to take advantage of this new space. One of the other new buildings on campus is our new business pavilion with the Eli Broad College of Business. It's a $30 million gift that was provided by Edward J. Minskoff to our students in the College of Business, and it is a gorgeous facility that I can't wait for you to be able to see when you're able to come back to campus. One of the other things is we've continued to build out on our FRIB, or the Facility for Rare Isotope Beams, and it's a $730 million project, which was largely funded by the U.S. Department of Energy. And so we are really excited about the work that's in research that's taking place there. And again, another one of the new icons for Michigan State University. Many of you have already been to campus and had an opportunity to see the new 1855 place, which is directly across from our basketball arena. And in that facility, we have our athletics administration offices, as well as our new athletics ticket office. Additionally, you will find Starbucks and a number of other wonderful little items, which include a pantry. But there's also a place for housing new students in our apartment complexes and in some of our housing for graduate and family housing on campus. So we're excited about that one as well. If you move a little further across campus, you will notice that we have our MSU Pavilion, Music Pavilion. It's a 37,000 square foot facility and is really, really going to provide wonderful new opportunities for concerts for our students, as well as some new practice laboratories and classrooms for students and faculty both to engage in. So we can't wait for you all to get back to campus and have an opportunity to see it. We are hoping to restore our tours of campus coming in the spring and March for admitted students. So more information on that will be forthcoming, but I'm excited that these new facilities are taking place on campus and will hopefully provide years to come of opportunities for our students to do wonderful things. Thinking about the new application process and transcripts, we wanted to let you know that for the review process this year, we will continue to take a look at students' transcripts based on 9th through 11th grade. We know that their spring term was interrupted for students who would have been juniors last year. And so if those students receive pass-fail grades, we will exclude those from the review. Only those students who received letter grades will have it included in the application review. All AP, IB, and honors courses will continue to be reviewed as they have before in the past, and we will continue to give credit for those students in our recalculation for students with AP and IB courses. As you think about other supporting information, essays are going to really be big this year, as we have also decided to go test optional. But before I jump into the test optional piece, I just wanted to let you know that we continue to have our applications on 3 platforms, one being the MSU application, as well as the Common App and the Coalition application. And we still are not requiring letters of recommendation. Test optional. This year, our freshman applicants will have the opportunity to choose to apply to MSU using the test optional decision. Students who select to be test optional will not have the ability to change their decision once their application is submitted. So we're encouraging students to really think thoughtfully through the process before they make their final decision and selection. We realize that the ability for students to take a standardized test, the ACT or the SAT, may not be available in all areas across the state or across the country based on where they are. And so as a result, that was one of the real reasons that we opted to go test optional this year, not really knowing what we were going to be facing coming into the fall term, but we still wanted students to have an opportunity to complete their college applications and get those done on time. International students are not going to be required to take the ACT or the SAT just as before, but they will be required to provide English language proficiency, and the usual exams we will continue to accept. And this past spring, we actually started accepting Duolingo for international students. And so we will still be expecting to receive test scores from students, and they do have that option to submit scores using Duolingo should they choose to do so. For the students who choose to be test optional in the application review process, Michigan State over the years has gathered a wide amount of information and data on students who not only apply but are admitted and actually end up attending MSU from the various high schools around the state. And so with that information, we're actually able to understand how students are likely to perform at Michigan State. And so we're going to use that information and data in the application review process, along with information that's going to be new this year, as we are also going to be incorporating into our application review information from College Board's landscape. That information is not going to be used to look for ways to deny a student. They're going to be used to help us understand how we're shaping our class and what other experiences a student brings to the table. And so for many of you, you may remember that our admit rate for Michigan State is somewhere between 70 to 75%. This year was a little higher at 80% because of COVID and some other things. And so we expect to go back to the 70 to 75% admit rate this year, which means that students will have a great opportunity in terms of being admitted by submitting an application to Michigan State University. This year's entering class had a middle 50th percentile GPA of a 3.5 to a 4.0. The ACT was a 23 to a 29, and the SAT was an 1110 to 1280. We expect to see our application pool remain strong this year, just as we have in previous years. But I can tell you that we're excited about the group of students who are joining us for the Fall 20, and we expect to see similar kinds of things in the Fall 21 class, even though the ACT and SAT score numbers are likely to change, largely because of the fact that we're going test optional. This year, Michigan State University is excited to welcome nearly 8,400 students from all over the globe. Almost 80% of those students in this year's class will hail from the great state of Michigan and be represented by all 83 counties. Additionally, Michigan State is excited that our diversity and equity and inclusion with our class in terms of students of color is also up. Michigan State, at the core of what we do, are very proud of our land-grant mission. And with that, we want to continue to provide opportunities for students regardless of their sex, gender, and identity, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of whether they come from a rural background, an urban, or even a suburban background. Regardless of where you come from, we want to make sure that we continue to provide a safe space for students here in East Lansing. This year, Michigan State University made an important decision to keep our tuition costs the same for the fall 2020 class. This is the third straight year that we've held tuition costs equal to what they were now in 2018. So for 2018, 2019, and now 2020, Michigan State has not raised its cost of tuition to students. We're also proud of the fact that we were able to offer this year more than $1 billion in aid to admitted students for the entering class. We don't know yet whether or not we're going to hold tuition costs the same for the fall 21 class, but our Board of Trustees will determine that during the usual meeting that takes place in the summer. So in the summer of 2021, we'll have an update for you regarding our tuition costs for this upcoming cycle. At Michigan State University, we're proud of our Honors College and the fact that it's one of the oldest of its type in the United States. Honors College students at Michigan State have an opportunity to participate in this college regardless of their major, and the opportunities and options that they are afforded is nothing short of amazing. Our students who get admitted to the Honors College demonstrate a high thirst for learning and have displayed success at a high level available to them at their school. Students also have a variety of ways to be admitted to the Honors College, and we encourage them to visit our website to get more information about that if they're interested. But I'll also tell you that this year's entering class was 632, nearly 7.5% of our entering class, and we're excited to not only welcome them to our class, but we're also excited because we know that they're going to continue to do like all of the students before them who've been a part of our Honors College are going to do wonderful and phenomenal things. At Michigan State University, when you send us your students, you can know that we've got their backs. Students have the ability to do a lot of things here at Michigan State, from research to student organizations to participating in just about anything that their hearts can imagine. But becoming a part of the Spartan family means joining an alumni group that numbers nearly 500,000. But it's not just about being a part of the network or the family. It's understanding that when you go to college, you want to know that you have an opportunity to move into a career and to move on. This year, even though the slide shows 93% with new information, we know that it's now 95% placement rate. I'm so excited and proud to say that our Career Services Office jumped into action in the spring with this past year's seniors who were graduating. They reached out to all of the networks of employers from around the globe and put together a seriously large career fair for our seniors. And they still made sure that our graduating seniors had the ability to connect with corporations. Although many of their interviews were virtual, many of them did their orientations for their new corporate careers virtually, and many of them have never even set foot in the corporate offices of the companies that they now work for, that continue to work virtually. I realize that in this time that we're dealing with right now with COVID, it's hard and it's difficult being virtual. But our students need to understand that the new world that they ascribe to be a part of and that they want their place in is going to be a virtual world. And Michigan State is already moving forward with helping our students understand how to not only work in teams, but work broadly across internships and other opportunities, all virtually. Many corporations and companies discovered, like Michigan State, that we can still get the job done even if we're not in the same place. Many of you are also experiencing the same thing, as some of your schools have chosen to go online or to go hybrid or even to go back in person. But I want to remind you that the world that the students are going to be going to is going to be very different behind COVID-19. And I'm going to encourage you to join us on September the 14th as we do our Q&A session that afternoon. And if you've got any additional questions, please feel free to send them to me at ambros28@msu.edu, and I'll be happy to add those to our live Q&A session. So as I end this presentation, I just want to remind you to go green, go white, go Spartans, and remember that Spartans will. Thank you for taking time out to hear our presentation and spend a little time with Michigan State.